Hi, this is Apostle Dr. Jewel Williams. We're continuing. This is day 3 of We Are the Body. And today I want to talk about we sow because we are the church. This is, and I've been reading Acts 2:42 through 47. So I've been breaking down the verses. So I'm reading it from verse 45, and it says, and they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had need. And this is where the church gets a lot of beat down about, oh, they begging for money, oh, they're asking for tithes, and we've got don't tithe, you don't have to tithe, it's an Old Testament, it's a New Testament, so we have all of these back and forth. Well, I'm going to tell you why we give at Abundant Life Worship Center. We give for several reasons. One, we give because this is where we've decided to come together as a family, and since we've decided to come together as a family in this location, that location has needs. We got to pay for the rent. We have to pay for the utilities. We have to pay for things. So we make sure that those things are paid for. That money has to come from somewhere. So what do? We give our tithes and offering. But that's not the only thing, and that's not the main part of why we give. Most of our giving is so that the body of believers are also able to be maintained. Because it said they sell their possessions and belongings to distribute the proceeds all to any had need. Well, we're not selling everything we got, but what we're doing is when we're bringing the money together, sometimes there's people in the midst of us that have needs. For example, when there was the layoff, when many people had the layoff, we had some individuals in our church that were laid off. So we don't have a lot, but we try to seed into them to help them. We have other people that for whatever reasons, taking care of parents, some other things have come up, and so they find themselves in position that their finances are out of whack. Well, guess what we do? We then, as a church, try to seed into them, try to bless them. It's not a loan, so they don't got to pay us back, but we try to seed into them so that they are able to be able to at least just to survive. I mean, we can't pay all their bills because we're not that, our congregation is not in that position to do so. On average, we're at about 20 people or so. But because the Lord has given us the wherewithal to make provision for ourselves, then we've been able to do that. We've been able to help if somebody needed food. For example, when COVID, when many of the churches were closed, we closed, but we kind of did hybrid and eventually we went back in. But because we were letting people know what we were doing, our giving actually went up during that time. But guess what? Our giving went up not so that we had more money in our pockets. We did more stuff. We found people who needed help. We were helping with some people that were doing outdoor ministry. Some of the people who had kids that were, couldn't graduate or didn't have the graduation because of COVID. We sent money and things like that. Why am I telling you this? Not to pat myself on the back, but I want you to understand that there are some bodies of believers out there that are sowing because we are the church. They are sowing for reasons like this, because there's a need in the midst, and we're not asking somebody else to do it. We're starting to do it ourselves. I've shared this before. My husband and I don't get a salary per se. We get a love offering, but we didn't take on this ministry because we thought we was going to get rich being pastors. We got jobs, we got businesses. We make the bulk of our money comes from what we do. We're probably one of the biggest givers. Again, I'm not telling you that so that to pat myself on the back. I'm telling you for this reason. Sometimes we do a disservice because we badmouth the church and say every pastor is out for themselves, every pastor is this, and every pastor, and we're always speaking this negative when there are some good men and women out there that aren't on public platforms, that are doing the mission of making sure that those that are in their needs are being met. Their needs are being met. And so as the body of believers, we want to make sure people's needs are being met to the best of our abilities, right? And that's why we give. And I appreciate Abundant Life Worship Center because they are cheerful givers. In fact, we were able to bless another sister church, and the Lord blessed me as their leader to know that stuff is not always about us. It was our anniversary, but we turned around and blessed somebody else. That's what the body does. The body is not just, I'm looking out for me. I'm looking out for us. God bless.